Hello, I'm Pastor David Smith of In God's Hands Ministries, located at 3563 Highway 20 in Due West, South Carolina. And I would like to take just a moment of your time to bring you a brief summary of today's message entitled Drive Through Religion. Today's message comes from the book of Ephesians, the 4th chapter, verses 14 and 15, which simply state that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, carried about by every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of man and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive, but speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ. Today's message focuses on the fact that we have gotten so accustomed to everything coming speedily and quickly, wanting everything right then and right there. God reminds us that we must be patient and we must wait with courage, and understanding that his word will not return unto us void. We have gotten into the habit of wanting God to act as though we're going through a fast food restaurant where we pull up to the window, we pay our money, and we receive our meal. Have you ever stopped to think that the meals that we request have already been prepared and are just waiting there, not just for you, but for anyone who orders that particular meal? Some of us have gotten used to this and have decided that we always make some adjustment or change so that when the food comes out, it has been fresh and has to be made fresh. And so we have to park and wait on that food. Oftentimes we forget and we think that as long as we run to God quickly and he will answer quickly and he'll just send us down a blessing and it'll be okay. We fail to understand that God does not give us prepackaged anything, but all of his is custom made. We have to get out of the habit of just accepting anything that is thrown our way, any word that sounds like it's from God, and just accepting it and being okay with it. We have to make sure that we rightly divide the word of truth, that we understand and discern things through the Spirit. Is this of God or is it not? If anything, people come up to teach you or tell you or try to explain to you something, and just because it sounds good does not mean it is good. For instance, over in 1 Corinthians 6, it tells us that all things are lawful, but not everything is expedient, simply meaning that everything is permissible. You can do anything you want to do, but just because you're allowed to do it does not mean it's beneficial for you. We have gotten into the habit of getting fast food, and it's not good for us, but it serves a purpose at that moment. But what happens is that you always hunger. You always want something else. You always want something different. And we fail to understand that he who hungers and thirsts after righteousness shall be filled. We fail to remember that when Jesus met the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman, and he asked her to give him something to drink, she failed to realize, or we failed to realize, that when he told her that if you drink of this water, you will surely thirst again. But if you drink of the water that I give you, you shall never thirst. We fail to understand that what God has for us, we will never hunger nor thirst anymore. But if we always chase after what the world offers and what the world can give us, we will always be in need and we will always want. And yet God's people shall never lack any good thing, that God's people shall never be begging for bread. But we look at it and say, well, if that's the case, then why so many people are poor and why so many go without? And what we understand or need to understand is that God speaks of spiritual nourishment. It is very important and vital that we know that just because we can be fully, physically fit, we can be athletic, we can be bodybuilders, we can be in the best physical shape of our lives. But if our spirits have not been exercised, if our spiritual man is lacking, then we are lacking. No matter how strong we are physically, if the inward man is weak spiritually, then it is weak all over. And the devil, the enemy, our enemies, are attacking the spirit. So no matter how physically strong you are, or how physically capable you are, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and spirits and principalities in high places. It's very important that you know that you have to strengthen the inward man as well as the outward man, so that you too will be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. It's very important that you understand that there are ways that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is destruction. Have you ever had moments where you were going somewhere and you knew exactly where you were going, exactly about your destination, and you knew exactly how to get there, and you were confident in your abilities, and yet when you arrived, you realized that you were at the wrong place? How did you feel? Were you embarrassed? Did your pride falter? Were you hurt by that? What did you do, knowing that you were at the wrong place after being so confident you were right? There are many people right now who think that they are in the great will of God, that they are in the grace of God, and yet they are so far away from God that they don't see it. There is a way that seems right. We have to understand and know that God has purposed for us a certain thing for each of us. There is a way, a path that He has carved out and laid out specifically for us to follow, but it's up to us to do it. We cannot rely on someone else. It is the prayers of other people who have gotten us where we are. It is the prayers of others who have been able to carry us through. But there's going to come a point in your life when the prayers of others will not get you into heaven. So many people are buying into false doctrines because it sounds good. It makes the flesh feel good. But we fail to realize they're just like scalpers outside of a ball game, selling tickets and the same ticket to everybody. And so many people are buying that ticket that they're going to get into the stadium. We get to the stadium and they're trying to get in, only to realize that their ticket is not good. The prayers of other people will get you to Jesus, but they will not get you into heaven. You have to have a relationship with God yourself. Don't get caught up in the schemes that are going on in this world. Don't get caught up in the quick things of life, the fast money or the fast lies that people tell you to get you all tangled up and entangled in the stuff that you have no business being involved in. Be very mindful of the path that God has laid out for you so that you can walk that straight and narrow way. Is it easy? No. Is it doable? Yes. Just continue to press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling in Jesus Christ. Continue to stay on the road that God has laid out for you. Don't get caught up in everything else. Keep your mind and eyes focused on the Lord and watch where He takes you. Watch the blessing He has for you. And though it tarry, wait on it, for it shall surely come. Don't get caught up in the drive-through religions where you can just grab it and go. Make sure your blessing is tailor-made. I'm Pastor David Smith of In God's Hands Ministries, wishing you and yours the very best that God desires to give. God bless you.